What's up? What's up? It's Brian. Back with this week's exercise for this week. Right now, we're still calling it the Content to Cash Machine. We're going to be rebranding this entire thing to the Media Room by I Sell Words to kind of coincide along with me launching my content studio for business owners. And I'm driven to do that because I want to teach business owners how to start recording their own videos and using video marketing content to help improve their businesses. I mean, the framework that somebody who just wants to be famous, or somebody who just wants to get viral clicks uses versus what a business owner uses is fundamentally different. The successful ones, not so much. They're going to have a business model, but for a lot of business owners, video is kind of the secret weapon that your Facebook page is missing, because it stops the scroll. And so I want to teach you guys how to take advantage of the opportunities that are available on social media for video content. I've had a pretty trying last 72 hours. And so this is me getting back to trying to be a little bit more normal. We'll see how it goes. I got a lot of live streaming ahead of me this week. And so I'm going to see how things go. I might need to take a little bit of a break to recuperate. But anyway, so this is week 4 of the camera confidence. And today we're going to solve one of the biggest problems in video. It's sounding like a robot, where you shut your brain off and you sound like somebody completely different, or your brain activates too hard and you end up sounding like a robot when you present stuff. And so we're moving beyond that initial fear into the art of sounding natural and authentic on camera. It takes practice. This isn't some kind of really easy thing that you can do, but once you learn it, it gets a little bit easier. There's specific tricks that you can, specific mindset things that you can do that can shift your frame of reference when you start recording, so that you sound a little bit more authentic when you're talking to camera, especially if you have to read stuff that's off a teleprompter, stuff that's off a script, or you have a specific message or call to action that you're trying to get the audience to follow up on. So we're going to play around with a couple of things. I'm going to give you a couple of different techniques, and I'm going to give you an assignment to do. Okay. So the first technique is, it's a mindset thing. It's called the single person mindset. The biggest mistake is trying to talk to everyone. It's kind of it's something that you learn, especially when you start out public speaking. One of the things is, they say in order to engage the entire audience, you need to look at the entire audience. Well, sometimes we do that with our speech, especially when we're presenting online, and without having a specific person in mind, you can sound like it makes you sound like you're having a regular conversation with people, as opposed to a lot of times people get on here and they'll try to have conversations with everybody, and it doesn't really connect with anybody. So and that's kind of where we're at. So this week we want to get that out of you. All right. So the biggest mistake is trying to talk to everyone. This forces you into a really stiff, formal presentation mode. Okay. I don't want you to be in that mode. It's hard enough to sit down in front of the camera, especially when you're talking about your business. You get uncomfortable because a lot of times business owners, even though we like making sales, we like helping people, one of the struggles is it gets really hard to talk about our business without feeling like we're bragging on ourselves. And so I want you to get out of that stiff presentation mode. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. Before you record, I want you to choose a very specific person. Person that you like to talk to normally, and you feel like you can talk pretty casually with them. All right. I want you to think of that person. Choose one specific person to talk to. Maybe it could be a favorite client, a client you got great rapport with, or a good friend. Picture them right where that camera lens is. Okay. Your goal is to have a one-on-one conversation with them. That's who you're talking to. Okay. It helps you lock in a little bit more on that one person. All right. And so this mental trick will fundamentally change your tone and your language and your delivery. Because when you're talking to somebody that feels that and you're comfortable with, you can have a more regular sounding conversation. And a lot of times that's what your audience is going to want to see. All right. Like I said, so picture that favorite person or that person you have an easy conversation with. It could even be a favorite client. I like to do that for business owners because if you have a client that you got a great rapport with, and you've done great business with them previously, it makes it a lot easier to have those kind of conversations. So get that person in your mind and imagine them on that camera lens, and that is who your audience is. Okay. So that's technique number one. Technique number two is the bullet point method. I want you to get rid of the scripts. I don't use scripts. I don't like to memorize scripts. If I try to memorize a script and I forget a sentence or something, it can completely throw me off. Okay. Reading a script is a fast way to sound unnatural. It takes practice to read a script. Oftentimes, you'll see these YouTubers who use teleprompters. They're good at it because they've had practice doing it. There's a specific technique that you use when you're doing script delivery or reading off a script or reading an entire teleprompter. And you got to get practice because it's not going to come naturally. Okay. So trying to memorize and read off a full script is the fastest way to sound unnatural. Your brain is reciting and not talking. Okay. So instead, I want you to pick 3 to 5 main bullet points, and that's what I want you to work on. Okay. Those are your guideposts, not your exact words. They're kind of telling you what to say. Specifically, if you're in a specific field or talking about specific business, pick 1 or 2 things that you want to, or 3 to 5 things that you want to talk about, and put those bullet points somewhere where you can see it, where it's visual, so you can kind of have a check for where you're at. And it allows you to talk naturally without having to recite something. Okay. Okay. Keep your bullet points like short ideas, and just remember, talk to one person, use the bullet points. So glance at the bullet point and then go back to camera. Okay. So a lot of times when we're talking and communicating, like I'm not always great with eye contact in real life. That's because my ADHD, sometimes I need to find another point of focus to keep my thought. And so that's how I do on stream. I will make eye contact occasionally, but more times than not, my eyes are moving around looking for my next thought. It's a natural thing. It doesn't have to feel unnatural. It's a natural way we communicate. Okay. So glance at a bullet point, back at the camera, and then talk about that idea naturally. It's okay to pause or say or ah. It makes you sound human. All right. The ums and ahs and getting rid of all that stuff. That's great for the post-production kind of stuff where you want to have it really polished, where you want your delivery to be polished. More times than not, you can leave some of the mistakes in. You can leave a lot of the mistakes in. I think once you get on these things and you start talking to the camera, a lot of times people will try to edit themselves midstream and mid-thought, and it absolutely throws them off. Okay. Technique 3. This is the question and answer framework. This is a simple way to make your content feel like a natural conversation. And it structures it as a series. Basically, what you're going to do is you structure it as a series of questions and answers. You can even state the question out loud. So the big question is, how do you sound naturally on camera? Okay. Then you answer the question you just posed. This format is the easiest way to follow, and it feels like a helpful dialogue. Okay. That's why I use the question and answer format. All right. So again, I'm trying to keep it short and sweet, condense the nonsense. Your weekly challenge is what I want. This is what I want you to do. So your challenge this week is to record a 60-second video using all 3 of those techniques. Okay. I want you to pick one person, use 3 bullet points, 3 to 5 bullet points. I'll give you an extra 2, and then frame it as a question and answer kind of thing. Okay. Watch it back and see the difference between what you've done and what you're trying today. All right. Because you already should have a couple of videos that you tried out. I want to see how it looks. You've had a couple where I've instructed you to kind of speak freely. And so you have a good frame of reference to use to get started with. But yeah, this week's assignment, I want you to put all 3 of these into play, record it and check back. Let me know how it goes. So wherever you're seeing this video, leave a comment if it worked. And if you noticed any specific difference. All right. So before I go, I'm going to let you know, like this week, I'm going to be launching my founding partners program for my physical studio. And again, this is going to be a content recording space for business owners. But it's not only that, you're going to come in and get coaching. I'm actually going to teach you how to present your stuff on camera for social media, and how to craft compelling videos and good messages and stuff to put on social media. Give you some strategy things. So not only are you going to leave with a video, you're going to leave with the right mind state to do this on your own, or know what you're looking for when you hire somebody to help you out. Okay. And so I'm going to be launching that a little bit later on this week. This is where I'm going to combine all my coaching into a full done production system to create your content. Okay. And when we get done, not only will you have a little bit more confidence on camera, but you're going to have pieces of content that you can use. So I'm going to be launching that a little bit later on this week. I'm finalizing a couple of things on my website to make sure that I can make sure I can book people the way I want to in for this. And I really do appreciate y'all riding with me on this journey. Again, right now we're the Content to Cash Machine. This is going to be rebranding to the Media Room by I Sell Words, just to accompany what I'm doing and what I'm doing in the real world as opposed to the digital one. So I do appreciate y'all's time. Thanks for tuning in. Like I said, it's been pretty challenging last 72 hours, y'all. But thanks for tuning in with me. I will talk to you later. Peace.